Okay, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be fixing stuff like this, and we're going to be putting this piece back onto this piece, a couple of other little jobs. Now, I've been asked to put in more detail, so this video might be split up into more than one piece. So if you're interested in stuff like this, welding this to this, stay tuned. I want to ask your opinion on something. I bought this bike for $500 broken down. I did some mechanical work, I painted it, and I ended up with this, which I then sold for $3,000. I now have this bike, which I intend to do the same thing with. My question to you is, do you want me to document the transformation of the vehicle? So, part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and have a look, because it explains to you the tools we're going to use, what we need, and how to use them. If you remember, we got up to here last time, and now we're going to be moving into the bottom section and repairing this crack. So, like and subscribe, guys. Here we go. Okay, this is what we need. Now, this tool is not an extra part. It's actually something that comes into the kit. And when I bought it, I got a little box with the whole thing in it, and this is called a needle extension, and it's designed to go into small places where you can't get the body of the machine. Now, all the cutting tips that I'm using here, the different size collets that fit inside the handle so you can use different thickness tools. There are little sanders and cutting devices, all sorts of things in the kit that you buy. So the $30 price tag takes into consideration everything you see, so there's no extra cost. Now, when you're doing this, just take your time and make sure that you get a groove through the whole crack. You know, you don't want any misbits or anything like that. You know, you want to try to get the whole thing done. As you can see, it can be a little bit fiddly at times to get into places, but you just got to play with it and just go easy. Make sure that you've got your groove cut and you're good to go, because it gives you somewhere to put the glue, and that's the foundation of the whole repair. Okay, and then we have our groove, and that's what we're going to drop our plastic into. Before we start, we have to secure the backing to make sure it's not going to move around and it's sitting in the place where it's meant to be sitting. So what I generally use is some good quality tape. Don't buy rubbish, you will get rubbish results. So what we're going to do is we need to pull this in so that this is closed, if that makes sense. That's got to be closed, so like so. So what we do is we start by hooking our tape on the back over here. We keep it on the edge because we're going to have to seal this section too. Right, so we've got to pull that close. So push up like so with your thumb, get it nicely down, hook that over there, get rid of it. Same here, do it again right here, go straight along that face, like so. And that should be good to go. So now you could see that this is being held in the right place. So I'm not quite sure whether you're picking that up or not, but that crack right along there is nicely sealed and nothing shows. So next is to run tape along the crack on the other side to stop any glue from coming out of the hole, because you don't want glue running about the surface. Okay, so this stops the glue now from penetrating the other side. There will always be a tiny little bit, less is better. Okay, so now what we want to do is get this out of the way of our repair. So we want to work in here, in this area here, so we don't need tape in that area. So we're going to fill all this and we should be good to go. So once again, we use our plastic bottles. Now we're going to change to white powder because I've just realized that I don't need to use clear in here because this is inside the panel. Once this is put back together, no one's going to see the inside of the panel. I normally only use clear when I'm on the outside of the panel. Okay, so what we're going to do once again is we're going to drop this into that groove as best we can. So nice and delicate, 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 delicate. So we want to work on just the flat first, and then we're going to move around as we seal it. We're going to move around, and then there is one extra piece we're going to do here, which I'll show you in a second. As you can see, the glue runs quite well. If you hit it in the right place, it'll run through quite well, and you want to try and keep it, if you can, limited to just the area that you're working. Don't spill the glue too much because it tends to run through the crack to the other side. So what we're trying to do here is a bit of wind. So our next little trick is going to be a little bit of reinforcing. Now this is standard, stock standard drywall, plasterboard fixing tape, and it has loads of little holes in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little piece of this off, just like so. And we sit it on here, and this reinforces that break. Now all we have to do is sit it on, and it should sit quite nicely in place. So what we do is, once again, get a little bit of powder and we drop it in here. And that's all we have to do for now. So we are going to grab ourselves something to hold this down with in a second. Because we're going to sink this little piece of mat into the glue. So if we look in this drawer here, we will find one of these, and all we want to do is just hold that in. It'll go in very, very easily. Just push it into the glue. And that's it, it's down. And that's already started to harden. Now drawer knows something we don't. And all we want to do is cover that's it, and when it goes white, stop. That's it, and we just drop a couple of drips of glue on top here just to give it a final seal. And that's it for that section. So now what we have to do is move the whole contraption around so that it's up in this kind of fashion, so that we can drop the glue in the other side. We'll just do this last little bit over here. I'll try and keep it in view for you so you can see what we're doing. We're just trying to make this one solid piece of glue all the way out to the edge. So I am going to have to flatten this right down just to get this last little bit here, this piece. To make sure that my glue has gone right to the edge. So there you go. So that is a good reinforced repair at that area. As you can see, there's some glue in there. Now what you can do is not pour that much on. Now as you can see now, that's the glue that you could see moving before is no longer there, which is what you want. And that is it. So now we have that whole thing repaired, and that will now sit. That's as strong as the original plastic. It will not move or bend in any way, shape or form. You can take the tape off once it tacks off a little bit, and on the other side you can sand, grind, do whatever you want, and that will not move. And at the end of this repair you will be able to grab that corner and pick this whole panel off the bench, and it will hold strong. Okay, let's move on to the next bit.